I'm Christy Cregan. I am the CEO of the Lake Tahoe South Shore Chamber, and I'm here with our Government Affairs Director, Steve Teixeira, and Heather Cade Bauer, who is a candidate for the City of South Lake Tahoe City Council. And Heather, we're going to use exactly the same format that we did the other night, which is we asked every candidate the same 5 questions, and then we asked and then there are policy, and those are kind of the getting to know you questions. And then we've got policy questions. And each of the candidates was not asked all the questions. They were only asked a couple just due to time constraints. However, at the end, we will ask you, you have a final 2 minutes to talk about something that we didn't ask you. So you will have the opportunity to make your case or talk about an issue that's really important to you that we didn't ask you. Steve and I are going to alternate the questions, and for every question except the first one, you'll have 2 minutes. The first question, you'll have 3 minutes. So are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Okay, actually, having said that, let me pull my timer out just to be um, really on top of it. Let's see. Ta-da. Okay, so your first question is, please introduce yourself and tell us why you're running for city council.
So my name is Heather Cade Bauer. I'm a procurement contract coordinator for the Foundation for California Community Colleges, where I work to create system-wide agreements that all community colleges and public agencies can utilize. I've lived in South Lake Tahoe since October of 2020 when I moved here with my husband to work at Kirkwood for a season, and then we never left. We have 4 children. They've all gone through the school system. A couple are just starting. And then my motivation for running is pretty simple. I just want to be a voice for all the people of South Lake Tahoe. There's been quite a bit of division going on, and I would like to be a voice of reason and unification, and just listen to people.
That's a that's a great answer.
Are we ready for additional questions, Heather?
Yep.
Okay. So, what specific experiences do you have that are relevant to the job of a city council member?
So I've worked in the public purchasing since 2014. So I have quite a bit of experience dealing with budgets and how budgets work in regards to public funding. I've been on several boards. I was the treasurer of the Sierra House PTA back, I don't even remember what year, but my daughter's now 20 and she was at Sierra House. And then at LTCC, I was also on the classified employee unions. I was various positions holding the presidency for the past couple of years before I left the college, and I also did negotiations. So it was that being that voice to unify different sides and bringing them together, as well as being on part of the classified employee union. Before I started my position at the foundation, I was also part of the advisory group for California Community Colleges for the college buys team, where we helped guide what different contracts the foundation would go out for the different colleges, as well as being a co-chair for the Northern California Purchasing Group. And currently, I'm the secretary for the Tahoe Parents Nursery School because we have our youngest, Charlie, who goes there. And then I'm also the president of the South Tahoe Disc Golf Association. So I've been on quite a few boards and just learn people and how to listen and talk to people.
Christy.
Thank you. How do you define the role and responsibilities of a city council member? How will you contribute to an effective, collegial, and cohesive city council?
Well, so the role of the city council is to create policies and work with the city staff to follow that, prioritizing the needs of the community and listening to the community members. I'm sorry, what was the last part of that question?
I know it was a two-parter. How will you
Yeah.
contribute? How will you contribute to an effective, collegial, and cohesive city council?
Well, in all my experience working with various different shareholders in across the state in different capacities, I've learned that the best way is just to listen and be kind to one another.
Thank
So
you.
as I think you touched on, Heather, a primary role of the council is to reflect the interests of the community. How do you currently outreach and network in the community where you live?
Right now, I in the community, like I said, I'm part of the Tahoe Parents Nursery School. I'm on the South Tahoe Disc Golf Association, so that's various different people that I communicate with, and I've been attending various events. And when it comes to outreach, like I do a lot of outreach in my current position. I'm assigned specific colleges, all the ones with the lowest FTES, which full-time equivalent students, which I'm working to help them figure out ways to streamline their procurement processes. And so one of them is to engage with them to be on RFP committees and various work groups. And so and attend events that we have. And I've already, in the year that I've been with the foundation, seen an increase in the amount of participation from different community colleges than before when I started. So I do a personal approach. I reach out to them individually. Mass emails, I don't see work. People tend to just disregard a mass email. So it's always nice when people feel that you see them.
Yeah, agreed. Christy.
What are your thoughts on the city's strategic plan? Where do you see its strengths and where can it be improved?
So the strategic plan, I think that it highlights quite a bit of the concerns that I have in the community, including affordable housing and then infrastructure. Infrastructure is huge. I mean, you drive down Johnson Lane, you're like, oh my gosh, how is this road like this? And so I do like that it speaks to those and then how it reflects the core functions of the city, which is those basic necessities that we need: fire, police, public safety. And in regards to where I could see it improved, I'm not, like I said, I've read through it and it's pretty solid. I think it's a really well written document.
Thank you.
Just sort of tangential to that, how many council meetings have you gone to personally or on Zoom, or how closely have you followed the council, at least of recent times?
Well, since COVID and with Zoom and stuff, I started just trying listening in on Zoom meetings. I did my first in-person one was on the 24th, when I went in to witness it, and I plan to attend as many in person as I can between now and the election. I've also the online. It's lovely how you can go back and watch videos that are put. So I've been doing that as well.
So you've caught up on past meetings by watching the video of the meeting.
Hmm.
How would you describe the overall tenor of the council? I know we have a council member here on, so
Yeah, well, I mean, I see that there's some divisiveness up there for sure. But I think everyone works pretty cordially with one another.
We try.
Yeah.
right. So are you like, do you consider yourself a policy person, the policy geek, if you will, and that's why you want to be up there citing policy?
Yeah, I understand policies and procedures. I've worked, well, that's my job. I deal with them all the time, but I'm not really, I wouldn't call myself a geek, as much as I just want to know what's going on and how it affects me. When I was at Lake Tahoe Community College, that was one of the things when I started doing union stuff. I used to go to all the board meetings for the college as a classified representative. And it was funny because people would be like, why did this happen like this? And I'm like, and one of the overarching responses that I would hear regularly was, oh, it's on board docs. So I actually started writing like cliff notes down, jotting down bullet points that are important to classified staff and emailing it out to the entire campus, which everyone really appreciated that. And it's not getting done anymore. But that's just
Oh,
one thing I do like to, I like to be able to give people easily digestible information.
good. Christy.
Okay. So now we're going to go kind of policy, some of the things that are in the strategic plan. So the first one is the city has invested significant funding to support Lake Link microtransit service. If elected, would you continue to direct funding to support Lake Link? Why or why not?
So Lake Lincoln, I remember when it started, I actually helped because they were based out of the college. So they were sending all their registrations and license plates for their vehicles to the college. And I actually, my one daughter, she heavily uses Lake Link. That's how she doesn't drive. She doesn't really like to ride a bike or walk, so she uses Lake Link regularly. I think it's a good service. It can be improved on though. The one issue that I have is the time. It's like if we want people to be able to get to work, they can't be sitting there for 2 hours waiting for a ride. Because some mornings she'd be like, "Mom, it says 2 hours," and the other times it's only 10 or 15 minutes. So it'd be nice to if we were to continue funding it, we would really need to have some say in the way that they maybe allow for reservation style instead of just first come first serve.
That's a good point.
Okay. Uh, so sort of a defining issue in one way or another is the question of Measure N. Do you have a position on Measure N?
Yeah, I have a position on it. I in the last month or two I've read about it. I did attend the Measure N forum and learned a lot about, I have serious concerns. I'm a renter. My husband and I have rented our house since 2001, and so I know like there's no way if we were to be forced out of our house that we would be able to rent anywhere else. So I just don't think that we should be putting any more regulations or rules on tenants to prove that they live in a place. And originally I thought, oh, well, that doesn't seem too bad. You have a lease agreement, you have this, and it's like, no. And then I talked to a couple of friends, they're like, no, that's not really how it works. You have to literally prove every day that you live in your house. And so that is just overarching bureaucracy that I can't stand behind.
Christy has the other measure.
That's right. Yes, I do. Please share your position on local measure U, which is the Lake Tahoe Unified School District's bond measure. And how did you come to your decision?
So Measure U, I'm for it. I feel that it is important to upgrade our schools. Like I said, I have a daughter that's 20, a daughter that's 17, son that's 5, and a daughter that's almost 3. And it's like I've been through the school system and I've seen that there's repairs that need to be done. And if Measure U can help do that, then I support it.
Thank you.
Another issue that comes up before the council is the relationships with adjacent jurisdictions, specifically El Dorado County and the El Dorado County Board of Supervisors and the staff, and Douglas County and the Board of County Commissioners and the staff there. There's other agencies that, as you know, the city deals a lot with: Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, Tahoe Transportation District, Tahoe Conservancy. Some of those relationships are pretty good, and some of them not so. What are your thoughts about relationships between the city and the adjacent jurisdictions? What's good about having working relationships with those?
Well, it's important to have good working relationships with all the jurisdictions around us because then we can work together for common goals and not waste money. Like you get together and you start figuring out, oh, we can make this process easier and more cohesive between the two groups. It's just good to have a nice relationship. I don't know how the relationship with the city council and any of those are right now. That's not something that I've really noticed.
I guess you are aware, though, that if you were elected to the city council, even though you would be a freshman, at some point you could put your hat in the ring to be the city's representative to the Conservancy or TRPA or Tahoe Transportation
Mm-hmm.
District. There's a whole myriad of assignments that members of council, take on. Do you have any particular interest in any one of those or something similar?
Yeah, I mean, a TRPA would be interesting to me to understand how they create policies around the lake.
Mm-hmm. Anything other besides TRPA? Any Any particular, they have relationships obviously with South Tahoe Public Utility District, with the school district. There's some things called 2x2 or 1x1, where you're
Oh
the
yeah.
council liaison to another jurisdiction. Any interest in any of those?
I would be interested in any of them, honestly. Just learning more about what's going on and being a part of the process. I would be interested in any of it.
Do you have another question, Christy, that you might want to ask Heather?
Um, yeah, actually, I know that you mentioned you have a lot of experience with budgets. Some of the city's biggest budget requirements are to support the fire and police departments. So city
Mhm.
council always directs quite a bit of funding there. How supportive of that are you, and what funding, I guess, when additional needs come up, what potential funding sources would you look to?
Well, so I think fire and police emergency services are essential to any city and all of our residents. So I fully support continued funding at appropriate levels for all of that. Affordable housing is one that I'm really interested in. And Major Ann was brought up because of the lack of affordable housing in town. So I think that there's ways to look into grants. And I know we're now considered I forget what the term is with the state about our housing initiatives, but I think that looking into different grants and ways that we can increase affordable housing for, I know we have lots of housing, but it's not really affordable to a regular full-time. My husband and I both work full-time, and it's we struggle sometimes. So it's definitely important that we look for other alternatives, funding sources to help with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, the term that you were seeking there was pro housing designation, only
Yes.
10 one of only 10 communities in the state of California that's earned that. And at the last council meeting, the council directed staff to proceed with a pro housing designation grant opportunity, and the chamber is busy writing a letter of support for that. So you're right that the city has done more than many. Is it always enough? Probably not. So there's a lot of work to be done in that arena, but I think the city has taken a fairly active role in the housing arena. So we'll just leave it at
Yeah.
that. Um, other I don't know, Christy, you want to ask the what have we not asked that Heather may want to talk about?
Yes, indeed. What have we not asked you that you would like our voters to know about your candidacy?
I I'm just a regular mom who lives in town, loves this town, and just wants to be a voice of unification, and just to help. I grew up with family that was my grandmother. I remember complaining about a president that was elected, and she's like, Heather, it's your generation's fault. And I'm like, why is that? And she's like, because you guys don't vote. So I always vote, and I've always tried to be involved in things so that I can be a voice and not just sit in the sidelines. So that's about it.
That's a
Well, it's not an easy thing these days to step forward and run for public office and be part of public service in the community. So we salute your stepping forward to be one of those people. And I don't know, Christy, is there anything final that we would like to ask Heather?
what I would like to ask you is, well, yes, is to echo Steve and say thank you. Running for offices is a challenge. So thank you for
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And something that we said to people the other night was, this interaction right here is not people's only opportunity to hear what your stances are and your positions. I know that South Tahoe Now just ran your answers, and there is another candidate event on Wednesday. But if people want to talk to you, what should they do?
They can email me or text me. My phone number and my email address are linked everywhere. I even had someone reach out to my work email today, and it wasn't one that I had put on. But yeah, I'm pretty accessible. You can just Google me and you'll find me. And you text me and I'm free to meet or chat with anyone that wants to chat with me.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for spending some time with us this afternoon. If we think of anything extra, we'll let you know. And will we see you on Wednesday at the speed dating forum?
Yep, you sure will.
Okay, good. That sounds like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll
Thank you,
be
Heather.
interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a
Yeah.
good day.
Thanks a lot. You too. Bye.
Bye.